I want to put out this video to straighten out some misconceptions about, I don't know, how the major media paints generations. Now, I was looking at um, some of the traditionalist attributes, which would be the people from, I don't know, they call them the lost generation, the forgotten generation, the whatever, the greatest generation from the Great Depression, World War II. Then they had the baby boomers, which were from like 1946 to 1966. Then Generation X, which went up to, I don't know, the late 80s or something like that, or wait a minute, the 90s. And then um, Millennials, and then I think from 1996 up to Generation Z. Now I'm showing here a map of 1789 because I mean, it's like this. When you're looking at anything that historians say, which are basically the major media, and anything that's even on the airwaves, when you're talking about, you know, just commenters on major media, I don't know, news networks or whatever, or historical things or whatever, they're always lying about what really happened way back when. I know that there's like books written about what happened, and I put a lot of stuff out about, the war between the states. But this was like 1789. Now I'm going to get on to something here. I'm going to tell you right now. I was around, obviously, born in the mid 50s, so I was around, and I know a hell of a lot about what happened in the 1960s. And I think I was quite a bit smarter than the average person back then because I used to watch all the news stories and all this kind of stuff, read vociferously, and I can tell you one thing: I never fell in with this hippie generation crowd for nothing. Um, it's so yet I can tell you though, for the most part, most people didn't. From what I know, from people I knew, most people did not. Actually, I think a lot of the hippie generation stuff came on board more in the 70s. And by then it was actually starting to die out in different ways, but more people started adapting it because of extreme brainwashing by the major media. If you look back in 1964, I think that's when the Beatles were first coming here. You look at them. You know what? If you really want to get a good idea of what people were like in the 1960s, go look at some of the old music videos on YouTube that are in black and white, and it'll show some music group out there from the 1960s, and say you got Dick Clark walking around with a microphone interviewing somebody in the audience. Look very careful at that audience, and look very careful how they react and how they act and how they talk. They're conservative and traditional as all hell, and I can guarantee you, just the fact that they went to one of those concerts or whatever, and seeing one of the major rock groups or whatever the hell they were at the time, they're not even the most traditional people around right there. This stuff, this is how, you see, the major media is encouraging this stuff, and they go around and photograph all these things like it's normal. People weren't walking around like this left and right back in the 60s. No. And I think in the future, you know how today they got the transgender, gender blender, and all this kind of stuff? In the future, they're probably going to tell you that this generation, the Generation Z generation, like they'll tell you 90% of the people in the future, they'll probably make it look like 90% of the people were transgender. I mean, that's something they'll probably do. I don't know. So I was looking at this thing. They were showing like the traditionalists, the baby boomers, Generation X, and the millennials. And I'm right smack in the middle of the baby boomers, but I don't fit a lot of their stuff. I actually fit far more on the traditionalist side in a lot of ways. And I can tell you one thing. I highlighted this word, the New Deal. And I can tell you one reason I highlighted that word, because that was Communist 101 to the max right there. But I can tell you a lot of stuff that is on this traditionalist side is where I fit in more. Discipline. Don't question authority. Maybe, maybe not. Anti-war? No. I'm not. Baby boomers anti-war. I ain't anti-war. Anti-government? Could be. Depends. Depends on if the government's kicking the right people's ass. Um, question everything? Nah. Hard, and then traditionalist, hard work. That fits me. Responsibility. Trust in government? I'd say no. But getting on with this list, I could tell you I fit far more on the traditionalist side than the baby boomer side. Um, Conservative, dedication, doing more with less, fiscally prudent, hardworking, historical viewpoint, and it's definitely me. Organized, yeah. Um, but I fit the baby boomers in somewhat where I'm a workaholic guy. But this is one that really bugged the hell out of me. Baby boomers, buy now, pay later. Oh hell no. Boy, that is not me in the least. I've been debt free, 100% debt free since 1998. Okay, for the last almost 20 years, been 100% debt free. Um, and I guess that goes along with that me attitude. I got to have something right now. Pay cash, that's me. This is the traditionalist right there. Pay cash, yeah, put it away. Yeah, that's me all the way, man. I don't fit this damn baby boomer status for crap, actually. Um, Originally skeptical of authority, but became similar to traditionalists. Time equals authority. You know what? Actually, I don't think a lot of people today in authority deserve it because they're asswipes. That's my opinion on it. It's not that I disrespect the structure, but I also realize a lot of people got into positions because they're asswipes. They don't really work. Um, Now, baby boomers say workaholics invented the 50-hour week. Yeah, that's probably me. But I really fit a lot more on the traditionalist side. Their word is their bond. Value due process and fair play. Value honor, competence. Value sacrifice, dedication, hard work, good attitude, attendance. Man, I'm like Mr. Freaking. I've been known as Mr. Reliability, and if I had to stay at work, shit, even before, if I had to stay at work like past midnight to get something done, I'd do it. If I had to go work through the weekend to get something done, man, come hell or high water. I remember even when I was in the military, if I had to work all the way around the clock to sun up, I would do it to get shit done. And I always noticed, you want to do this more in the private sector than in the government because you'll get more out of it because the government, you know, the pay is based upon who kisses whose ass. Really, that's really 90% of it. If you're a captive slave in the government, you don't want to you don't want to work for the government. Period. So I mean, I have a different anti-government stance though from the baby boomers. Very different. Conservative. I'm anti-government because I'm conservative in a way where I don't believe in big government. Okay, so I fit this traditionalist side. I am actually like a baby boomer that doesn't fit the freaking baby boomer status. But I can tell you right now, when you're looking at, the major media is showing all this stuff back from the '60s, and are showing like these assholes on this freaking. First off, I wouldn't paint this stupid bus. I would never own a stupid bus. These hippie vans, I wouldn't own that crap. I wouldn't paint flowers on it. Um, you know, the car, if I paint, I painted my '69 Roadrunner convertible medium blue, okay, with Del Star enamel with the catalyst when it first came out. No weird shit. Um, and I never smoked weed. Now, I drank Michelob and Guinnessy Ale and Rum Collins mixed drinks a lot and vodka and wine. But I never freaking did any drugs and never did any freaking even no weed. So I don't fit this bullshit freaking cliche. I fit the traditionalists. And I can tell you, most people by far in that generation, even, and I'm from the Northeast, New Jersey, where, supposedly the liberal assholes are. I'm not liberal, though, in the least. I did not see this generally going on. This crap. It's stupid. I just didn't see it. I don't even know where the hell they got all those people for this stupid Woodstock. I don't even know where they came from. You know? I mean, I think a lot of people went up there like it was just so, let's just go for the hell of it, you know? But it was like maybe they acted one way for a weekend. But even these people that were at Woodstock playing a little game, they were not like this 90% of the time, during their other times. See, the media is making it look like this is the norm, what's going on. I don't, I didn't see it. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. But I know I am far more traditionalist than a baby boomer. No way. Uh, well, I think I know what people are talking about with baby boomers because I can't stand a lot of these assholes playing golf and going to restaurants. If you go to a restaurant and you spend $100 at a restaurant, I look at it like that. I could have bought. I mean, maybe it's a piece of shit welder. I could went to Harbor Freight and got a piece of crap welder for $100 and bought that and maybe gave it to my great nephew and said, "Hey, here, go have fun and go weld the doors shut on some asshole's car that you don't like." I mean, at least he's doing something. Anyway, traditionalists bring value to the workplace with experience, knowledge, consistent. Yeah, that's me. Consistent, disciplined, dependable, detail-orientated, hardworking, loyal, stable, thorough. That's me all the way. I don't fit all this other bullshit. I can tell you that right now. That's me, man. But I don't like working for nobody too much because, even though I get paid way less on this YouTube, not that I'm bitching to you, Mr. and Mrs. YouTube, but it's like I do my own thing on here, That's what I like about it. Like I could stick out this video right now that don't even mean nothing, but tend to be conservative in the workplace. That's me. See, I'm a traditionalist, even though I'm born right smack in the middle of the freaking baby boomers these days. But, that's why this bullshit don't freaking add up. The other thing is, like I'm just want to keep harping on. You never saw nobody dressed like this back in the freaking 60s and 70s. I never saw anybody dressed like this. If I ever saw a female dressed like this, I'd say, what the hell are you wearing that tent for? Where's your freaking legs, man? You always like to see you dress with half their ass hanging out, So, that's not exactly traditionalist, but I'm okay with that part. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, I'm almost like the guy, I used to make the jokes where, the hippie chicks, a hippie dude was walking by the construction workers in New York, and, they got the jackhammers tearing up the road, and the guys are like cursing out the hippie dipshit walking by with the greasy hair. And then this chick walks by, hippie chick with, skirt right up to her butt and, real tight top and stuff. Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, peace, baby," Yeah, that's me, I guess, I mean, I'm not, I guess if it shows a lot of skin, okay. So, interactive style, individual, yeah. I am not, loves to have, it's baby boomers. They're supposed to be a team player and love to have meetings. I don't think I'm a team player. I know I'm not a team player. Love to have meetings. No. Consensual, collegial. No. I ain't into that shit. It's like, get the shit done. The hell with it. Now, maybe this might be where I'm a little like a baby boomer. Speak open, direct style. Use body language to communicate. But that might just be Italian. I don't know. I'm half Italian, so. But man, this stuff, it's kind of weird how they categorize, but I guess they're probably right about the baby boomers being the generation of entitlement. But I think all the generations that are younger are the generations of entitlement. I'm actually looking for just get more land up there in North Georgia, up there in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I want to go get some metal buildings on there and stuff. Get some well going in there with septic tank and some solar panels and shit. And keep it simple, stupid. I mean, I want to expand, get more shit, but it ain't gonna be fancy. But I don't fit this stupid garbage here at all. Retirement. Put in 30 years, retire, and live off pension savings. I don't ever plan to retire. Period. Ever. Never. I never will retire. So anyway. It's like everything else that they freaking present. history. They don't present things the way things really should be, you know. I'm probably going to do this video later on sometime about, you know, this is like the same thing like they tell you about what happened with the war between the states, how the media's presenting it. They got all these compartmentalizations for like the traditionalist or the greatest generation. That's what I call them from the World War II. But actually, I can tell you, I think the greatest generation was this generation that lived through the 1860s, especially the people in the South. Um, you know, but they compartmentalize everybody, and I can tell you right now, I don't fit the baby boomer freaking cliche for nothing. And I also know that even though it's traditionally, or it's been commonly known right now that millennials are a bunch of whiners, there's loads of millennials out there. I mean, if you go down to South Dakota or Utah or something like that, there's millennials growing up there, out there in the frontier states, man. Hey, they're hardy, man. They know what's going on. And actually, there's people in the cities too. They just guys that work on cars and do roofing and stuff. They might be a millennial. They do a lot of stuff. I'm actually going to get on with some crap about this in this election in the future here on a future video of 1860. Some stuff people don't know, like with the popular vote and the electoral vote back then. Some other things that I'm going to bring to light. One reason we shouldn't have too many damn immigrants coming to this country because they could swing elections, which is what happened with this stupid Abe Lincoln jerk. But you know, um, that's just a side note. Now, am I a traditionalist or what? Hey, man, I'm a traditionalist in the 1860 traditionalist. You know. Anyway, birth years 1900. Imagine being born 1900. You'd be 117 year olds right now, right? 117. Anyway, but you know, it's kind of funny. I look at these famous people. Bob Dole. Boy, that guy was a freaking dud. Elizabeth Taylor, the movie star that made one movie. She walks around. She's a movie star, and she was a jerk, man. Richard Burton was walking around after her with a pooper scooper all the time, and I don't know, drove himself there. Meryl Streep, who the hell is that? Bill Clinton, a dope smoker. Barack Obama, Jennifer Lopez, the one with the big ass. Ashton Kutcher, I don't even know who the hell that is. I think Serena Williams sings or something. I don't even know who the hell that is. I don't give a damn, you know. I don't fit in any of this crap. You know, I don't really get into. I don't even get into tech. That's another thing. You know, I get into tech when it's money. We need to know stuff to make money. That's the only reason I got into tech. Otherwise, I'm not into tech. But anyway, this is how they paint the baby boomer generation. You know, if you look back during, I seen stuff on the major media where the Great Depression was starting or something like that, and they showed these guy with a crazy hat, and he was acting funny, and he was dancing around doing a jitterbug, or what? I mean, that was in the 40s, but he was doing his crazy dance. He had these wild things he was dancing around, and the major media makes his comment that people were oblivious to what was going on. They were just having fun in the 1930s. And I was like, what are you talking about? You freaking picked something out of somebody that was like 1 out of 1 million people, and you display that, and then you make a comment and say, this is how everybody was. I could tell you, this definitely was not going on in the 1960s. Unless maybe it was in Southern California in some places. I don't know. But then, even if this was going on in some places, it would still only be 1 out of 1,000 people. Or maybe 1 out of 100 people in that generation. That's what's ridiculous about this bullshit. I can tell you that right now. As a matter of fact, this entire counterculture movement, I'm going to drop a bomb here right now, was put out there by the elite themselves. The Tavistock, you know, like they call it the British invasion. Remember that? With the, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and some other dipstits from England. And actually the Beatles were I don't know if they were popular in the UK. I know the Rolling Stones were not popular in the UK. They were immensely popular over here at that time. And actually, the Rolling Stones were, I think, from 1971 on, they were crap. They were, I mean, they were around many decades, but they were crap. They only lasted. They were only good in the beginning. Um, but they were pushed in the forefront by the Tavistock Institution, which is a Tavistock. It's a major psyop operation based in the UK. The whole counterculture movement, that was part of it. I know it was also being things were also being done here, maybe through the big money people here, maybe the Rockefellers or something. But it was also going heavily from the UK. As a matter of fact, I think the UK pretty much owns the United States, certain people. So this whole counterculture movement didn't just come out of nowhere. And if you look at during the time when it had the Vietnam War, man, I put out a video about the Vietnam War. It was extremely unpopular, but man, I'm telling you, I'm being dead on balls accurate. I said the United States didn't lose the Vietnam War and saying I was being a denialist. I says, you know what? When you win every major battle, even though you got these dumb rules of engagement, and you tell the enemy your rules of engagement to handicap yourself, and you still win every major battle. And after the 1968 Tet Offensive, the Viet Cong were wiped out. The only thing left was the NVA. And then we win every major battle despite the rules of engagement. Then we leave. We leave. After we bomb the shit out of Hanoi and Cambodia and Laos, then we leave. So after we leave and we get out of the ring, then they could jump in the ring and take over. You know, they get in the boxing ring and they take over. So I don't know how you could say that's a loss, but the major media, just like everything they say, is bullcrap. And actually, you know what? I'm hoping. I don't like Vladimir Putin, but Vladimir Putin blows up the major media and turns him into freaking dust. I could care less. To tell you the truth, that's what I think. Now, you know, these guys here with the helmets and the MPs, you know, looking like, you know, I don't know. This shit is like a big orchestrated bunch of crap, too. But a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people that were anti-war protesters during this time were smart enough to know that we were actually funding both sides of that war. Through this campaign where we'd lend money to Russia, and it wasn't just Lend-Lease during the 1930s. We had another Lend-Lease during the 1960s. It was a different one. And we lent them money, and they bought a bunch of goods that supposedly had no military application, but actually did. It was like Ford Motor Company would give them engines and trucks and crap like that. And in turn, that helped them to supply more because they got more economic power. They had more leftover economic, you know, savings or whatever, you know, might to fund North Vietnam. And then we forgave all those loans. Some people that were the anti-war movement at that time did figure this out. But you know what? You wouldn't hear them being able to voice their opinion on the major media. So major media is a freaking damn communist bunch of crap, man. I'm really hoping they get it, man. I can't stand them. But I can tell you one thing. I probably fit more in this traditionalist category, even though I'm not born in that year, than I do in the baby boomers. But I can tell you there's probably quite a few baby boomers that fit in that area. And I can tell you also that Generation X and Generation Millennial and Generation Z have still a number of people that fit back in this traditionalist area right here. That's probably the only thing that's going to keep crap going. Don't let the media freaking BS you, man. I could see them in the future if they're still around. I'm hoping the major media is all freaking crispy fries or something with nuclear weapons. But if the major media is around 30 years from now, or 50 years from now, They're going to say Generation Z, which is after the millennials. They're going to make it look like everybody was a transgender gender blender or some crap, gender blender, whatever the hell that is. They're going to make it sound like this. And it'll take pictures. It'll show, video or pictures of, all this weird stuff going on in some part of New York or something, New York City. And they'll say that's what was going on everywhere. That's not true. And that's exactly the way they present in this 1960s bullshit. No, but this is rare, man. You didn't see people walking around like this, man. The only thing I saw that people adopted a lot was blue jeans. But they had maybe a different style of blue jeans from the 50s, where they didn't, like in the 50s, they might have rolled the cuff up. But I never wore this crap. I wore jeans and I wore a t-shirt. I mean, not a tie-dye t-shirt. Never wore one of those damn things. A black t-shirt because it doesn't show dirt, because if you're working on your car, it doesn't show dirt. And I never did, I don't know. This crap is BS, man. I never saw people like this, man. I only saw, even back then, it just wasn't around, man. It just wasn't around. If I saw a car with, you know what? Even if you're looking at this stuff, I know I got to freaking talk in this longer. But you know what you would see different? Now, you see the stupid bus with all these colors. What you might see that was radical was people would, like I was working with a guy. He owned a body shop. He used to paint. Even he painted the Concours Corvette club cars. You knew his shit. But the custom work that was done on cars wasn't done with this crap, with flowers and crap. There was like you might paint the bright colors, like Mopar had these colors, like tangerine orange or some shit, and Ford had like grabber green and I don't know, impact blue or something, and you might paint the car that color, and then you could do custom work with flames. You could do geometrics. You could do scallops. And you could do lace. Lace was another one. You never see that today. You put lace on there, you spray some paint over it, then you clear coat it. And, after you lightly wet sand the lace to get to knock down the edge of the paint, and you would clear coat it. It wasn't like this crap. I don't know what the hell. I never saw this shit. I mean, the weirdest shit I saw was some guy. He had a Jeep, and he paintbrushed. He painted it red with a paintbrush, and because it was just a paintbrush paint job with automotive paint. And he took some stencils, and he made spider stencils, or cockroaches or some crap. I think it was spiders. And he painted spiders all over the big ones, like they were about a foot big, all over the red Jeep, and black spiders. But it wasn't like hippie stuff. It just kind of looked, it was kind of a wild camouflage, man. I never saw this shit. I never saw this kind of crap anywhere, man. And I got around, man. I got around all over the place, man. So I gotta tell you, this shit basically wasn't going on. And I think Woodstock, when Woodstock went on, I think there was maybe a small percentage of people who probably lived that Woodstock lifestyle most of the time, and everybody else that went there, they were playing hippie for the weekend. That's really what they were doing. That's all it was. So, and you know what? It was really, all this crap was encouraged by the major media, and the major media was largely controlled by the Tavistock Institute, which is a big mind control organization on the general public that's based in the UK. So I'm just putting this out here. I mean, it's not really a great video or something. I'm just trying to tell you what really was going on. And I know that back in the 1930s, when they're telling people, they're trying to make it look like everybody was oblivious to what was going to happen in the 1930s. They're just having fun. Get the hell out of here. People were just trying to survive, man. These major media jackasses are a bunch of liars, man. Keep that in mind. So that's why we got YouTube, okay? I mean, maybe I'm not giving you a real professional video here, but I'm telling you the straight scoop, you know? And I don't really, when I get on here, I don't really plan these videos too well at all, I'll tell you the truth. And the reason I do that is because when I put something out, I want it to be genuine. I don't want it to be extremely rehearsed. I talk right off the cuff. And that is why I do that on purpose, though. Because I don't like anything orchestrated or like what I don't want to be thinking, what are you guys thinking and stuff. I'm being flat out honest. I'm telling you what, and I'm not BSing anybody, giving you a straight scoop. The media is really presenting what happened in the past, even in the 60s and 70s. They're lying about it left and right. But I do agree there is an entitlement generation, but I think each generation is getting worse. They're getting more of an attitude that they're entitled to something. But, I could see where you should be entitled to, well, let's say, you put money into your 6.2%, plus your employer put your 6.2% into Social Security for 50 years or some crap. Well, I don't know what the hell, that's not an entitlement, that's, you paid for it, damn it. You know what I mean? I know the government's trying to make that an entitlement. They're liars, too. They're playing games with that garbage. But, that's not an entitlement. That's not an entitlement. That's money you put into something that the government forced you to put into. Or else, well, that's why I can't stand the government, because they're a bunch of damn liars. Anyway, over and out. Just want to set the record straight. And I talk off the cuff like this on purpose because I don't like rehearsing the crap out of things. So people criticize me for not doing that, but I deliberately do it that way because I think when you rehearse stuff, you're taking out the genuineness. You start thinking, you start second guessing what you should say. That's why I don't do it that way. I just keep it, real. That's the way it is.